I remember when my coach told me I was Peach Belt Conference Player of the Year. And for you that don't know, Peach Belt is the conference that GSW is in with athletics. And for me, I felt accomplished. I was happy because I was content with that. That's what I wanted coming into junior year because I'd wanted my sophomore year. So I was fine with just that award. And then May comes rolling around, and she calls me, telling me I am Regional Player of the Year, and I've made the regional team. And I was just in shock for that one because I didn't know that was a thing, let alone I was in the running for it. And here I was, like, I had just won the award. And now, June's rolling around, and she's calling me, telling me I'm National Player of the Year for NSCA and D2CCA. And I just stopped breathing. She had to make sure I was even on the phone still because I had no idea how to react. I was just in shock. This is something you dream of when you're growing up. And she was telling me that I did it. Like when you dream of things that you don't think it's ever gonna happen. And I was living real life that I did it. That the 16 years I spent working at this one sport, day in, day out, the blood, the sweat, the tears, all of it came full circle. And I have the awards. My name's on the plaques now. Like, it's mine. And nobody can take it from me. Like, my name is there. And I love all my awards. The success is great, but it comes from a place of dedication and hard work. And that stems back to my dad. My dad rolled me my first softball when I was 4 years old. And from there, we had t-ball, rec ball, travel ball, high school ball, and now I'm in my last year of collegiate softball. And I think back to the times that he was my biggest critic. He wanted perfection all the time. We spent hours, and I'm not exaggerating, hours in the yard just perfecting, hitting, pitching, throwing. He wanted perfection of all of it. If I had a bad game, we weren't just going home and going to sleep. No. We were in the garage working, trying to make it perfect. We didn't go to sleep until I got it right. Thinking back now, I realize I wasn't pushing myself. He was there to push me. He pushed me all the time. He was my motivation. I didn't just have like the self-motivation to do it because I didn't need it at that time. He was there. He pushed me, he motivated me, he made me the best that I could be. And I never thought that he wouldn't be there to do that. And then one day he wasn't. My dad passed away from a heart attack when I was 16 years old. And this was going into the junior year of my high school season. And at that time for softball, that's when you're getting to able to talk to coaches, you get your offers, you get excited about where you're gonna go. And all those plans I had circled around him. He was gonna be there with me when we found what coach I liked the best or the prettiest campus. He was gonna be there with me with my final decision. But those plans changed. He was no longer there. And I remember that first season without him was one of the hardest seasons I had ever had. And not just mentally and emotionally, because that, of course, was a toll, but physically. Like, I played the worst season I had ever had in my life. I know y'all might think that's crazy now, but like, no, it was terrible. And it took my mom really asking me, did I want to play college softball? Because I wasn't putting in any work. There were no more long hours in the yard. There were no more garage sessions. It was done. I didn't care about it. I didn't want to do it. There was no love for the game I'd loved for 12 years. And I realized I was letting everything me and my dad had worked for, it was going down the drain. Like, those hours, the perfection, those moments, memories, gone. And that hurt. That hurt more than losing him. And I realized that disappointment was something I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to feel that. And I know as I say that, I want to find self-discipline. That's what I was looking for. I need to find it. I need to find the motivation. Where was it? I don't know. I didn't have it at the time. So when I say I found it, it wasn't a snap of my fingers. I didn't just find it within, that day, I have to do it. No. There'd be days I'd set up my net, I'd get dressed, put on my cleats, and I'd walk out there to the yard, and I'd throw the first pitch. And I'd realize he'd never throw the ball back. He would never hit me another ground ball. He would never correct me on anything I'm doing wrong. That was over with. And instead of working, like I should have been practicing. I'd spend hours in the yard just crying. And the days I was supposed to go to private lessons, instead of going there, I would just drive around town. Because my motivation to play softball was gone, and I didn't know where to find it. It was dead. There was nothing there for me anymore. There was no love. The game I loved my entire life, I hated it. And for a year, that process continued. Just tears, sadness, the grief, all of it. Like I said, the game I loved and worked hard at for 12 years, I couldn't stand to play. So I'm going to my senior year of high school, and I'm looking through my dad's old phone just to get some memories. And I run across videos for me, my mom, my brother. And so my dad always had bad health issues, so it wasn't like weird to see the videos because he's always known to prepare for the worst. So that was him doing that. And I look through the videos and I click on mine. And at first it's just him talking how any parent would talk about how bright I am, how smart I am, how my future's gonna be great, which right now is going pretty well. And then he led on to softball, how that had been our sport for 12 years, how he had pushed me, how we'd worked together, how we'd spent blood, sweat, and tears just out there all the time doing that sport. But he told me he wouldn't be there one day to do it with me. And he was right. And he told me that if I want to continue my goals in life, which at the time were to play college softball and get into med school, that I would have to find it within myself to keep going. How I found that, he said that was up to me to find. And even though I knew at the time what needed to be done, that didn't mean I magically found the energy to do it. That's not how that works. I was still grieving. I was still sad. So I started slow. I started with just hitting. I'd hit just a bucket. I didn't make hard limits because I gave myself lenience. I was grieving and I knew that. But the world still turns. I wasn't going to sit still while it kept turning. And over time, it became easier. I was able to have fun again. I was able to love the game. I found it again. And now, I love going in the indoor by myself. I don't need the help. I don't need the motivation for someone to push me. I go in the indoor and I spend hours in that indoor, just hitting, pitching. Because as I said, I found love for the game. And now, 4 years later, I am National Player of the Year. But there was once a time I couldn't pick up a softball without crying, and I hated the game. And not everyone becomes National Player of the Year, but you have goals and aspirations that you want to reach. And life is a challenge. It's hard. Every chapter of your life will have a challenge. For me, my challenges have helped me prepare for the next goal of my life, which is med school, which if you know med school, it's not gonna be easy. So prepare for that one. So what I leave you with this is, what challenges are you facing in your life, and how will you let them define you? Thank you. Am I good? Can I walk off? I can walk off?